After my period went MIA for 2 solid months, my mom got it in her head that I was pregnant. So, she dragged me to the doctor. And who was sitting in the exam room? My ex-boyfriend. The one I dumped 2 months ago. His face was a blank mask, his voice colder than a morgue. Get on the bed. Top up, pants down. When I didn't comply fast enough for his liking, he took matters into his own hands and started pulling my pants down himself. But the second the privacy curtain was drawn, he took off his glasses, leaned over me, and whispered, "We never went all the way. So, why haven't you had your period in 2 months?" I never thought I'd run into my ex at my absolute lowest. To be fair, I should have seen it coming. When I saw the name Dr. Cole Jacobs on the digital directory in the lobby, my brain short-circuited for a second. It can't be. I clung to a sliver of hope. It's a big city, lots of hospitals. Coincidences happen. But the moment I walked into the room and our eyes met, that hope died a swift and merciless death. He was impeccably dressed in a crisp, reassuring white coat. He had the title of Deputy Chief Physician at one of the top hospitals in the country. The hand holding the pen was elegant, with perfectly defined knuckles. Who else could it be? His tone was all business. "Ashley Price, is it? What seems to be the problem?" "Great." It had only been 2 months, and he was already pretending he didn't know me. Cold. Though, to be fair, the things I'd said when I broke up with him were 1,000 times colder. My exact words were, "Cole Jacobs, after today, the only way you'll ever see me again is if you're on your deathbed, begging for one last look. And even then, I might not grace you with my presence." Well, karma's a bitch. Here we were, reunited in a hospital. Only the tables had turned. He was the doctor and I was the patient, awaiting my sentence. And as for me, gracing him with my presence, his appointments were so sought after that I couldn't get one. My mom had to resort to her superpower money and pay double the price to a scalper just to get me in. I'd overheard some girls in the waiting room gushing about how hot the doctor was, how the online reviews weren't lying. They said you didn't even need medicine, just getting his number was enough. His face was so devastatingly handsome it could make you want to live for another 50 years. At the time, I'd wondered if all guys with that name were that good looking. I was curious to see for myself. And now I have. Devastatingly handsome, indeed. Except the devastation was all mine. I'm usually quick with a comeback, but from the moment I stepped into that room, it was like my tongue had been possessed by a particularly stupid ghost. My mom, however, was completely oblivious to the undercurrent of tension between me and Cole. She launched into a loud, detailed account of my symptoms. "Dr. Jacobs, she hasn't had her period in 2 months. It's either pregnancy or some terrible disease. You have to give our Ashley a thorough checkup." The sheer awkwardness of the situation was enough to build a new wonder of the world. "Of course, ma'am. We'll take it one step at a time," Cole said, his voice the epitome of calm professionalism. He had that perfect bedside manner that made patients feel completely at ease. But I saw it. As he lowered his head to write in my chart, I saw the words he was actually scrawling. Patient possibly pregnant. Missed period. Not only moved on without missing a beat but got knocked up by someone else in 2 months. Hey, is that last part really medically relevant? Do you have a boyfriend? It was a standard OBGYN question, especially when it came to missed periods. Before I could open my mouth, my mom jumped in. "Oh yes. And our Ashley and her boyfriend are just so in love. Practically inseparable. Have you taken a pregnancy test?" "Not yet." The second I found out she'd missed her period, I rushed her right over. "It's so hard to get an appointment these days," my mom chirped. "I see." On the surface, Cole's expression was placid. But my danger senses were tingling, and I could see the knuckles of the hand gripping the ballpoint pen turning white. The tip of the pen was bent at a 70-degree angle, pressing so hard it had torn through 3 layers of paper. "Dude, that's my medical chart, not your burn book." "So, is it likely she's pregnant?" my mom asked, her voice filled with hopeful anticipation. I shot to my feet. I think I feel fine now. I actually feel like my period is about to start." I knew Cole's possessive streak. If I stayed in this room any longer, I was toast. But my mom shoved me back down into the chair. "What are you talking about, dear? This appointment was so hard to get. Now that we're here, you need to tell the doctor everything that's wrong." I was on pins and needles, a nervous wreck. Cole finally adopted a more sympathetic tone. "With you here, ma'am, Ashley might be a little embarrassed to talk." My mom had a light bulb moment. "Oh, of course. What's there to be shy about? I've seen it all," she said as she walked out. "Do you have any idea who this Dr. Jacobs really is?" I wanted to scream. In bed, he's a complete animal. He only looks like a saint. If my life were a movie, it would be a disaster film, and this would be the long, slow-motion shot of my impending doom. As the clinic door clicked shut, it felt like a guillotine dropping. With the sole audience member, my mom, gone, Cole finally dropped the act. He put down the pen he hadn't been using to write my chart. The cool, aloof doctor, with his smoldering eyes hidden behind silver-rimmed glasses, let out a cold laugh. Well, well, Ashley, you've really outdone yourself. Who's the father? It's only been 2 months, and you're already pregnant. That person who texted me was right. You really are a... He stopped himself. Forget it. From now on we go our separate ways. You're just a patient. It has nothing to do with me. His voice was laced with ice. I was completely lost. What text? What was he talking about? Had Cole fallen for a phishing scam? As God is my witness, my heart belonged to Cole and Cole alone. Okay, so maybe I was a little wild before I met him. Our first meeting was hardly the stuff of romance novels. I just finished a hellish project for a client, and decided to celebrate by hitting a male stripper club with some friends. But our GPS, in its infinite wisdom, led us to a classy, quiet cocktail bar instead. We didn't bother checking the sign, and just went in. The place had style, I'll give it that. But my tastes are a little less refined. After a quick scan of the menu, I ordered a Bomb. As luck would have it, Cole was one of the bar's investors and happened to be there that night. When he brought our drinks, he offered a friendly warning. Mixing caffeine and alcohol isn't a great idea. It can cause heart palpitations. By then, my friends had already plied me with several rounds. I was seeing double. All I registered was a ridiculously hot guy standing in front of me. I grabbed his hand. Whoa, the talent in this place is top-notch. How much for a night? Damn, look at these hands, these abs, premium quality. I don't remember much, but my friends later told me I didn't just grope him. I tried to wrap my arms around his waist and kiss him. They were so mortified they wanted to crawl into a hole and pretend they didn't know me. The next day, when I sobered up and learned of my transgressions, I was mortified too. But I couldn't get his face out of my head. So, I shamelessly went back to the bar to apologize, which mostly consisted of me tugging on his sleeve and trying to get another look at his pecs. After I'd stalked him for 10 days straight, Cole finally had enough. He cornered me in an alley behind the bar. Ashley, are you here to apologize or to harass me? I just giggled. If you're with me, no more male strippers, he said, laying down his terms. And no ogling other guys. Can you do that? Of course. From now on, my heart is all yours, I vowed. Honestly, that night was the first and only time I'd ever consider going to a male stripper club. It was just a whim. But then I stumbled upon the man of my dreams, and I hadn't looked at another guy since. I was the one who said the harsh words, but Cole was the one who initiated the breakup. His reason was, I'm too busy with work at the hospital. I don't have enough time for you. I don't want to hold you back. What a load of crap. Of course, I had to fire back with something equally cutting. I had to win the breakup. But now, he was accusing me of cheating, and it had something to do with a text message? There was definitely more to the story. The reason I hadn't tried to get Cole back these past 2 months was because I wanted my freedom. It wasn't until after we started dating that he told me his real job was a doctor. The biggest problem with having a doctor for a boyfriend is the constant health policing. Other couples hold hands and sip iced milk tea on a hot day. Cole would stop me explain how cold drinks on a hot day were a direct invasion of the lungs and hand me a thermos of ginger date tea instead. When I ordered takeout, I craved spicy, greasy things like Sichuan hot pot and barbecue skewers. He would calmly list all the ways those foods increased my risk of various diseases until I guiltily canceled my order. So, when he broke up with me, as baffling as it was, a part of me was relieved. I was finally free to indulge in a paradise of fried chicken, late-night street food, ice-cold beer, and spicy crawfish. No more pinching my nose and choking down the health tonics he brought home from the hospital pharmacy. The harsh words were just a front, a way to keep him from coming back and finding me binge-watching shows at 3 a.m. with a pile of takeout containers. For the past 2 months, my social media has been a curated gallery of heartbreak. I posted angsty song lyrics, stuff like, "How could you bear to hurt me?" and "Thinking of you all night." But in reality, without his watchful eye, I was living my best, unhealthiest life. I'd tried every single pre-packaged meal from the convenience store near my apartment. I ate everything icy, scalding, greasy, and stayed up until all hours. And now here I was. My plan had been to eat my fill, and then go crawling back to him. But of course, fate had other plans. Seriously, if I'd known I was going to run into my ex, I vow I'd not have worn my Melody pajama set underneath my clothes. The cartoon rabbit's big, innocent eyes were staring up from my chest, giving it a ridiculously comical look. I was going for a quirky vibe. But every time I saw Cole before, I dressed to kill. I wanted his eyes glued to me. Lace, ribbons, silk that clung to every curve, G-strings with pearl embellishments, you name it, I wore it. If he found out this was my actual taste in underwear, I would die of shame. While I was having a full-blown panic attack, Cole's voice cut through the air, cold and clinical. Get on the bed. Top up, pants down. I clutched my shirt, refusing to budge. I've seen every inch of you. What's there to be shy about? When that didn't work, he just reached for my clothes himself. No, you can't. I squirmed like a worm on a hook. The commotion brought my mom back into the room. She saw me writhing on the exam table, trying to escape his grasp. What is wrong with you? She boomed. There's nothing to be ashamed of. To a doctor, there's no such thing as male or female. He's just trying to help you. She rushed over and pinned me down. Dr. Jacobs, please, just examine her. I want a different doctor. I croaked. This hospital is impossible to get into. I spent 3 days refreshing the app just to get this slot. You think we can just walk out? My mom said, crushing my last hope. Besides, didn't you say you wanted to marry your boyfriend and live happily ever after? Do you want to drag this out and make him worry? He's so busy. Do you really want to add to his stress? Don't you love him? In my mind, Cole and I were on a break, so I hadn't told my mom we'd broken up. The beautiful future she was describing was the one I'd imagined with him. These vows of a life together, so touching and sweet, were now turning the air sour. The more she talked, the darker both our faces became. He thought she was talking about the guy who'd supposedly knocked me up. And I was getting a headache just thinking about how I was going to explain this whole mess to him. Suddenly, a jarring ringtone shattered the tension. We should break up with dignity. It was Cole's phone. His ringtone was that one line, on repeat. Wow, talk about holding a grudge. If he was really over it, would he still have that as his ringtone? He silenced the call without a word. In that brief moment I caught a glimpse of his phone screen. His wallpaper was still a photo of us, except it was in black and white. Was he mourning our dead relationship? It hit me then. The breakup for him was real. My melody pajamas didn't seem so important anymore. Just then, Cole finally cut my mom off. We're about to begin the examination. I'll have to ask you to step outside, ma'am. Seeing that I had finally resigned myself to my fate, my mom gave me a few stern warnings, drew the privacy curtain, and went out to wait. As my shirt was slowly lifted, my Melody's big, innocent eyes popped into view. I am a C-cup for the record. Cole barely glanced at them. Your new boyfriend has terrible taste. With my mom gone, I seized the opportunity. He's not my new boyfriend. There's no one else. It's only ever been you. Cole just snorted and ignored me. He squeezed a cold gel onto my stomach, and the transducer glided across my skin. My mouth was the only part of me that could move, so I decided to play the nostalgia card. Cole, maybe it is your baby. I've missed 2 periods. And the timing fits, right? That night we were together. Is that so? There was no warmth in his eyes. As I recall, we didn't go all the way that night. The doctor in the white coat suddenly leaned in close, his lips brushing my ear. His warm breath sent shivers down my spine. My stupid heart started pounding. He was so close. It felt like he was flirting. Was he going to right here? A montage of R-rated scenes flashed through my mind. Our eyes finally met. But while mine were filled with a flustered, hopeful spark, his were as cold and empty as a frozen wasteland. The machine beeped. Cole glanced at the monitor and raised an eyebrow. So that's your baby? What? Is something wrong? I asked, my voice small. Is your baby a mixture of tapioca pearls, taro balls, and pudding? He tore the first page off my chart and started writing a new, legitimate one. Be honest with me. How many cups of bubble tea have you had? Not that many. Just one whenever I miss you, I said with a sheepish grin. A little bit of pining, a lot of tapioca. He didn't even bother to look at me. Right. Not many people can drink their way into a hormonal imbalance severe enough to delay their period for 2 months. He wrote me a prescription, explaining how to take the hormone medication and all the things I needed to watch out for. See? He still cares, I thought, preening. A classic case of a tough exterior, hiding a soft heart. Then, he tallied up the cost. As he scrolled down, the total came to exactly $52.013. 5-2-0-1-3. I love you for a lifetime. It's a sign from the universe. I thought, my heart soaring. Then I watched as Cole, with a completely deadpan expression, reduced the dosage of one of the medications. I'll be fine with a little less of this one. And just like that, the magic number was gone. Oh well. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Whatever his reason for breaking up with me, I hadn't done anything unforgivable. If I could win him over once, I could do it again. I deliberately waited for Cole in the hallway after his shift. When he came out, minus his white coat, he walked past as if I were invisible. Cole, what's your problem? I called out. He stopped, feigning surprise. We broke up. Do I need to remind you? Of course I knew that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been so recklessly indulging in street food. But I still held my ground. What are you talking about? Even divorces have a cooling-off period. I've had time to think, and I don't accept your reason for breaking up. A breakup requires mutual consent now. In my book, it does, I said, shameless. Finally, a crack in his icy facade. My reason was perfectly valid. I don't have enough time for you. He wasn't wrong. As an OBGYN in a major city hospital, he worked insane hours, often more than 12 hours a day, with unpredictable shifts. He'd had to leave in the middle of dates, before we'd even finished eating, to rush back for emergencies. Because he was a doctor, I had to accept that he'd be on duty for my birthday. On holidays, he'd be at the hospital dealing with crises. I'd complained about it more times than I could count. But you're the only one I want, I said, grabbing his hand. But my heartfelt confession was met with a cold shrug as he pulled his hand away. Save it for the next guy. I'm not falling for it again. Falling for it? What is he talking about? Every word was the truth. Since I got with Cole, I hadn't even thought about other guys. I mean, with his looks and brains, if he were a male stripper, he'd be way out of my price range. I had hit the jackpot. Why would I ever lie to him? I was about to explain when a soft, feminine voice called out from down the hall. Cole, there's a multidisciplinary consultation this afternoon. We need to discuss the treatment plan. When are you free? Dr. Evans, I'm free now, Cole replied, turning away from me without another glance. I gave this Dr. Evans a thorough once-over. Do doctors wear makeup to work now? It was subtle, but expertly applied to look like a no-makeup look. And she was wearing heels? What if there was an emergency? She walked up to Cole, clutching a file and a thermos. When she opened the lid, the air filled with the familiar scent of ginger date tea. Standing together, they looked like a perfect match. Both doctors, both busy, both health-conscious. If Cole were with her, he wouldn't have to explain why he had to leave in the middle of a date, and he wouldn't have to worry about her diet. Saying he didn't want to hold me back was probably just an excuse. He'd wanted out for a while. When I snapped out of my daze, they were already heading into the surgical prep room. The door locked from the inside. Dejected, I left the hospital. But that evening, I got an unexpected call from one of Cole's friends. Ashley, it's Mark. Cole's drunk. He keeps asking for you. Asking for me? You've got to be kidding. But I went anyway. I'd never seen Cole drunk. In fact, I'd never even seen him tipsy. In my memory, he was always the perfect gentleman, composed and polite. I never knew he could lose control. Apparently, something had set him off today. He'd gone straight to the bar after work and started drinking, mumbling my name over and over. I got the room key and was immediately tackled the moment I walked in. Ashley, he whispered, his hands tracing my face. His breath was heavy with the scent of alcohol, hot against my neck. Where was the cool, reserved Cole from this morning? He held my face, forcing me to look at him, his voice low and raspy. For 2 months, I've been fighting every single day not to contact you. You wanted freedom, so I let you go. But why did you have to come back and tempt me? I struggled against his grip, my voice strained. Tempt? You? Who was the one who said it was just a medical exam? Who said you'd seen every inch of me? Ha, he scoffed. Your very existence is a temptation. Do you have any idea how much self-control it took for me not to take you right there on the exam table today? His hands were all over me, wrinkling my clothes. Cole, you're an animal. I yelled. I came here to take care of you, and this is how you treat me? And you were deliberately flirting with Dr. Evans today just to make me jealous. His hands stilled. He thought for a moment. Dr. Evans? Who's that? A friend of yours? He was completely gone. Okay, since fate has handed me this golden opportunity, I might as well get some honest answers out of him. He walked right into this one. I turned my head away, trying to create some space. All right, Cole. How about this? I ask, you answer. If I like your answer, I'll give you a kiss. He thought about it for a few seconds, then nodded dumbly. Perfect. He took the bait. Do you love me? This was the most important question. His coldness earlier had shaken my confidence. But drunk Cole answered without hesitation. He gave a wry smile, as if it were the most ridiculous question in the world. Do you even have to ask? Good answer. I pecked him on the cheek and continued. Then why did you break up with me? If he loved me, we should be together. There had to be something else going on. Cole looked at me with hazy eyes, his speech slurring. After a moment of silence, he mumbled, because you're a cheater. Me? A cheater? I swear on my life. When have I ever done something like that? You were secretly dating another guy behind my back, he accused. Honestly, between planning dates with him, getting ready for dates with him, and actually going on dates with him, my entire schedule was booked. Where would I find the time for some other guy? That's a slanderous accusation. I protested. I have proof, he insisted, fumbling for his phone. He tried to unlock it a few times but failed. Here, let me, I said. I instinctively typed in my birthday, and it opened right up. I wasn't trying to snoop, but he was slandering my good name. I scrolled back through 2 months of messages until I found it. A picture message. And there it was. A photo of me looking very cozy with another man. Anyone would have thought I was cheating. The evidence was damning. But I was completely innocent. The guy in the photo was named Dylan. He was good-looking, came from a wealthy family, sure. But I'm straight, and he's gay. You could lock us in a room together for 3 days, and the only sparks flying would be from static electricity. We're just besties. Whoever took this photo was a master of deceptive angles. I was just passing him a piece of food, but from this perspective, it looked like we were kissing. How ridiculous can you get? Combine that with the flirty man-eater impression I'd given Cole when we first met, and my constant complaints about him not having time for me, with photographic evidence on top of it all, it was no wonder he'd gotten jealous and broken up with me. I carefully explained the whole situation to him. I swore that the only thing I'd ever cheat on him with was a bag of chips. And my recent hospital visit was proof that my gluttony had already been punished. After I showed him my chat history with Dylan, full of us calling each other girl and dishing on boys, the tension finally left Cole's body. So, it was all a misunderstanding? Absolutely. My heart is so full of you, there's no room for anyone else. He was a total sucker for cheesy lines like that. He stroked my head affectionately. So, should we finish what we started that night? Cole's body was still as vibrant and energetic as ever. A little too energetic, in fact. And he used being drunk as an excuse to ignore my protests. By the end, I was too exhausted to even make a sound. The next morning, he woke up refreshed and immediately went to make me a health tonic and lay out my hormone pills. Then, he proceeded to delete every single food delivery app from my phone, all while making fun of my taste in pajamas. What's wrong with my melody? You seemed to love her last night. I grumbled. Besides, if I hadn't been so worried about you that I rushed over without changing, you wouldn't even have a target for your mockery. Seeing the thunderclouds gathering on my face, Cole wisely shut up. We were back together. A blessing in disguise. But now there was a new problem. Who took that photo and sent it to him? Since getting with Cole, I rarely went out with my friends. The one time I did with a guy present was with Dylan. The fact that it was photographed meant it wasn't a coincidence. Someone was deliberately targeting me. Who could it be? Whoever it was, they must have been following me for a while. Well, if they like to follow me, I'll give them something to see. I finally went to that male stripper club I'd wanted to go to from the beginning. Of course, I told Cole beforehand to avoid another misunderstanding. This time, he was surprisingly understanding. Don't stay out too late. Come home early. You're okay with this? I was shocked. After last night, do you even have the energy to do anything? He teased. I blushed and threw a pillow at him. I gathered a big group of friends and, after triple-checking the address, we went in. The place was a feast for the eyes. Men of all types, dressed in professional attire, serving drinks with polite smiles. I was about to reach out and feel some of those abs, but then I remembered my jealous husband at home and the promises I'd made. I quickly retracted my hand. No, I was here to lure out a snake, not to get lost in a sea of beautiful men. Looks like our girl is whipped. Can't even touch, my friends teased. Our table has a 5-figure minimum, you know. Make the most of it. Ooh, that one's a keeper. You'll regret it if you miss out. They were like a bunch of pimps, using every trick in the book to egg me on. And I fell for it. I couldn't help myself. I reached out a hand. How does one even get pecs this firm? So impressive. Just then, I saw a tiny, almost imperceptible flash from the corner of the room. But in the dim light of the bar, and because I was looking for it, I quickly pinpointed the source. I gave my friends a look, and they swarmed the guy surrounding him. He had one of those faces that would disappear in a crowd. We snatched his camera. It was full of candid photos of me. I didn't remember ever crossing someone like this. Was it you? Did you take the photo that made Cole break up with me? I asked, confused. Who put you up to this? He just sneered. There's a lot you don't know. The camera is full of interesting things. Why don't you take a look for yourself? I opened the camera's memory card. It was filled with pictures of me. The most recent ones were from tonight at the club. I scrolled back and started to see photos of Cole. I clicked on a video dated on my birthday. That day, Cole and I had planned to see a movie and then go out for a fancy dinner. But right before the movie started, he called. Ashley, I have a patient whose condition is unstable. I can't leave. I ended up celebrating my birthday alone. It was the worst birthday ever. I didn't speak to him for a long time after that. But in the video, I saw the other side of the story. It was 2 a.m. The emergency surgery was finally over. Cole, his eyes bloodshot, dragged his exhausted body into his car. He drove to my apartment building but didn't dare to knock. He waited until I was about to leave for the day, then timidly knocked on my door, holding a beautifully wrapped gift. I didn't let him in. You didn't show up. If you don't care, just say so. He spent a month begging for my forgiveness after that before I finally relented. I can't believe I did that to him. My face went pale, my heart pounding. I quickly clicked on the next video. It was the hospital pharmacy. A pharmacist was chatting with Cole. Dr. Jacobs here for another prescription for your girlfriend.
Yeah,
The last one was too bitter. She didn't like it.
she.
Secretly poured it all out. Do you have something sweeter this time? This stuff is so expensive. People are lining up for it and your girlfriend just pours it out, the pharmacist asked, wide-eyed. She's a picky eater. She's always sneaking out to eat unhealthy food. At least when I'm around, she'll drink a little of this stuff, Cole said, his eyes full of affection as he paid. The camera cut to a scene after our breakup. Cole was following me from a distance. I was standing in front of a bubble tea shop with a friend, saying, "Hurry up. I'm finally free from Cole's nagging. I can eat whatever I want now." He watched me happily devour unhealthy food, and I thought I saw his eyes glisten. Seeing that, my heart felt like it was being squeezed. The photographer sneered. "There's more. Want to see?" Yes, I have to see. I made these mistakes. I can't run from them. I steeled myself and clicked on the next video. It was a hospital dinner party. Cole's colleagues were teasing him. "Dr. Jacobs, you work so hard. You practically live in the operating room. Do you ever have time for your girlfriend? Not only that, she never comes to see you. Maybe she's got someone else on the side, so she doesn't even miss you." Cole's face stiffened. It was true I had been complaining a lot around that time about him not having time for me. But he still managed a weak defense. "No, Ashley's not like that. She has her own things to do." The others just scoffed. The next second, his phone buzzed with a message. He glanced at it, and his face changed. He left the party abruptly. That was the day he broke up with me. I knew without looking what he had seen. It was a photo of me and Dylan. When he came to see me that day, I was in the middle of a game, totally absorbed. I didn't notice anything was wrong. "Ashley, let's break up," he said suddenly. "Why?" I looked up from my screen. "Because we're not compatible. I don't have time for you, and you need someone who does," he said, his words heavy with unspoken meaning. But I didn't catch it. "What are you talking about? Are you just giving up?" "Fine, let's break up. Don't come crying to me, unless you're on your deathbed." I was so angry at the time. I didn't see the pain in his eyes. After we broke up, I was too busy enjoying my freedom to think about anything else. I figured I'd just go back and win him over when I was done having fun. And he was easy to win over. One night of honest conversation, and he was mine again. If it weren't for this photographer, I would have never known how much hurt he had been carrying all this time. I was stunned into silence. The photographer gloated. "See? You hurt him so deeply. And now, you're barely back together, and you're already back to your old ways, hitting on other men. When I send him these photos, do you think he'll forgive you again? And this time, don't worry. He won't be waiting for you because, right now, someone else is confessing her love to him." Confessing? I snapped. "And I have you to thank for all this material. Otherwise, Miss Evans wouldn't have a leg to stand on to convince him to break up with you." "Miss Evans? The doctor from the other day. The one with the makeup and high heels who was all over Cole?" I knew there was something off about her. She'd been meddling in our relationship, and now she was making a move on him. I rushed to the hospital. Even though it was after hours, the conference room was packed. And projected onto the screen was my face. That woman was unbelievable. She had taken every single one of my misdeeds, exaggerated them, and turned them into a PowerPoint presentation. It included my selfishness, pouring out the health tonics, secretly meeting with another man, and even the photos of me with the male models from tonight. The crowd was murmuring, their voices filled with righteous indignation. How could she do that? She doesn't deserve Dr. Jacobs. No wonder we never saw her at the hospital. She was too busy playing the field to care about Cole. The public opinion was overwhelmingly in favor of Susan Evans, who was standing on the stage, holding a bouquet of flowers and looking at Cole with hopeful eyes. "Cole, I've had feelings for you for a long time," she said softly. "Unlike Ashley, who only cares about your looks and doesn't truly care about you. We can discuss treatment plans together at work, and I can make you soup at home. I even like your ginger date tea. Will you be with me?" The crowd was moved. "Say yes. Say yes," they chanted. I pushed my way through the crowd, scrambling and shoving until I finally broke free. "Wait, I object," I yelled. I was moving so fast I couldn't stop, and I ended up tripping and falling at Cole's feet. He reached down and helped me up. "Ashley, are you drunk again?" He had always been the one to coddle me. I had never once apologized to him. Kneeling at his feet, I refused to stand up. "Everyone's watching," he urged. "I want everyone to watch. I want to apologize to you in front of everyone. I was blind before. But now I know everything you did for me, and all the hurt I caused you. As your girlfriend, I didn't take care of your feelings. I just complained. No matter how busy or tired you were, you always put me first. But I would get angry at the slightest thing. I was so wrong. But I've made a mistake. You have to give me a chance to make it right." Before Cole could speak, Susan cut in. Ashley, you know what you did. It's all right there in the PowerPoint. Now you're trying to play the victim to win him back? Where was this remorse when you were out partying? The crowd chimed in. Cole, you have to think clearly. Dr. Evans is the right choice. This one was just at a male stripper club tonight. She's not worth it. Yeah, they're like night and day. But Cole just scooped me up into his arms, ignoring everyone's protests. He gave Susan a cold look. You say my girlfriend has done terrible things? Susan, are you sure you're one to talk? What did I do? Susan stammered. Cole held me tight. First of all, I was her first love. I know her better than anyone. And I was the one who told her she could go to the bar tonight. What does that mean? The crowd murmured. It means we were trying to find out who was trying to sabotage our relationship, Cole said, his gaze fixed on Susan. So, what if it was me? I was just worried about you, Susan said defiantly. Worried about me? Cole pulled out his phone and showed her the picture message. You had someone take this photo and send it to me. It caused a lot of problems between my girlfriend and me. But as it turns out, the man in this photo is not romantically interested in women. The hospital has his counseling records which confirm his sexual orientation. My girlfriend might be a little rough around the edges, but she has never done anything to betray me, Cole said, his voice sharp. But you, Susan, are you really in love with me? Or are you in love with my position at this hospital? Cole had been promoted quickly and was already a deputy chief. Susan, however, was still a resident. What are you trying to say? Susan frowned. While I was investigating that picture message, I found something interesting, Cole said, mirroring his phone screen to the conference room projector. It was a chat history. A female student was sending sexually explicit messages to a professor, inviting him to her room at night. The profile picture was Susan's. Susan stumbled backward. You probably didn't know this, but your professor, the director of this hospital, is my uncle. And during your master's program, when my uncle rejected you, you found other professors to help you publish your papers. I don't need to spell out what you did, do well? Cole said with disgust. A collective gasp went through the room. The reversal was too sudden. Just moments ago, they had all been singing Susan's praises. Everyone, you can't judge a book by its cover. My girlfriend might have her flaws, but in my eyes, she is perfect. With that, Cole turned his back on Susan, who stood there, publicly shamed, wishing the ground would swallow her whole. The crowd erupted in jeers. Susan disappeared from our lives after that. She was so humiliated, she had someone else handle her resignation. The photographer was dealt with legally. The fine was hefty enough to make him bleed. In our relationship, Cole had definitely been wronged. I felt so guilty and wanted to make it up to him. So, I was the one who proposed. After a lot of careful planning, I lured him to a special venue, got down on one knee, and pulled out a huge diamond ring. Surrounded by our friends, I poured my heart out. For all the mistakes I've made, I want to spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Cole Jacobs, will you marry me? When I opened a ring box, the crowd gasped. The diamond was massive. Cole hesitated. He knew I must have spent a fortune. I used most of my savings to buy this ring. I added. If you're wearing it, I won't have any money left for male strippers. So you can rest easy. He put the ring on without a second thought. The smile in his eyes was undeniable. Your apology is accepted. And so is your proposal. We got our marriage license that same day. The wedding was a grand affair. My mom joked that it was fate that we would meet in a doctor's office. The medical staff who attended still had to keep an eye on their phones, ready to leave at a moment's notice for an emergency. Cole felt bad about it, but I was used to it by now. I joked that if this wedding got interrupted, we'd just have another one. Eventually, we'd get it right. Good things come to those who wait. After all the ups and downs, my resolve to be with him was stronger than ever. When you love someone enough, even if there are mountains and seas between you, they can be overcome.
Moral of the story: if your period disappears for 2 months, maybe don't panic. First check how many bubble teas, midnight snacks, and terrible life choices have entered the chat. Also, if your ex is a doctor, never assume a hospital visit is going to be emotionally covered by insurance. And finally, one badly angled photo, one jealous coworker, and one My Melody Pajama set can turn your love life into a full 37-episode drama. So the real lesson? Communicate before you catastrophize, and never underestimate the destructive power of tapioca pearls.